Permit me to begin by conveying my condolences to the family of the affected students and the country at large. This loss is not the first time it's happening. It has always happened, and we just bury the hatchets and proceed as if there is nothing that has happened. There is no one who is held to account. All what we do is that we rush to arrest the so-called alleged culprits, but we don't take actions on the persons who ought to have prevented that event from occurring. If you take the Changuli case, Bombolulu case, the Nyeri High School case, and many others, the individuals within the Ministry of Education have never ever taken responsibility. Reason being that the question of quality and safety control is not the preserve of the head teacher alone, is the preserve of the ministry, is the preserve of the entire government organs concerned in making sure that there is safety in our schools, safety in where we live in. So this action is ineptness and the inability to hold people to account. So nobody bothers whether our children dies in school or not. But when it will come a time when actions will be taken, criminal liabilities action being taken against individuals responsible, as good as well as the students responsible, we will see some pro-actions taking place to preempt any such kind of an incident. Remember, before these things happen, there is always some indicators. You know, you'll see one school getting unrest, and it has become a culture. So it should be within our books that at any given time, after maybe every openings of the school or during closing, at any given time, we have an audit process taking place, or in respect to the safety of our students. But no audit takes place in our schools. It is now not done by the board of management. They don't bother. The school management itself, in terms of the principal and his colleagues and his teachers, not bother. The ministry is unconcerned. So the students have been left to the vagaries of the world. So this issue must be taken seriously, and individuals within the ministry must be held responsible, because we had already had indications that some schools were getting unrest was now in schools was picking up. So when you see one case, it should be an awakening call that, guys, it's now time to audit the safeness of our schools. It is that season when students go rampage. It should become a culture that we have audit and review of our schools at every 3 months, after every 3 months. So interdicting the principal, taking disciplinary actions against him without holding the individual within the ministry responsible as well. Those who are responsible for safety will not cure this issue, because they will say, okay, even if this incident happens, the buck will always stop at the principal's door. But if we push this thing further, all the way to the ministry, including holding the CS responsible and his PS responsible, we may succeed in mitigating these occurrences. Number two, it has almost become apparent now that schools will always have fire once in a while. Therefore, there should be a ministerial policy that every school, just as much as they have buses, must have an efficient, efficacious firefighting engine. If we're able to build affordable housing, if we're able to build them, why is it not a requirement by the ministry, the policy of the ministry, that every school must have a fire engine. Or we can even cluster them, that for every 5 schools, we'll have a stationed fire engine. That is to say, if you're not able to buy fire engine for each and every school. But we have bought buses for schools. It should be a priority, therefore, to other than just having these fire extinguishers, that we have efficient machines placed within reachable proximity of our schools. That is one of the policy we shall be propounding when we come into power in 2027, when we take Kasongo home. It shall be a policy in the government that we shall put into place, that schools will be afforded the opportunity of having fighting equipment. As I learned, you can now see what Mr. William Ruto is now doing to try and avert all what is happening and try to digress the issue, to try and hoodwink us, divert the situation to show that they are concerned. This type of lip service in government is what must be brought to an end. We need to see serious service delivery. And if a government is not able to take care of its children like this one, they are coming after the act, what we call ipso facto, then how can they guarantee the safety of these children and even the safety of our country? And when Mr. William Ruto decides to hold a so-called breakfast prayers day and fails not to mention the fire incidents as a key issue, even calling for a moment of silence in remembrance of the departed, and he decides to put it as a by the way, it is so heartening. It breaks our hearts. It breaks our morale. It only rekindles our desire to take Mr. William Ruto home and put into place a government that will be responsive to the people's plight. On the issues of the safetyness of the school, permit me to land there until and when you invite me to contribute on the quarantine issue. Because for me, I believe the person who needs to be quarantined is Mr. William Ruto. Maybe be quarantined in a mental facility for him to be examined whether he's in full control of his faculties. I will contribute when you invite me. I land.